hard act to follow. Good morning. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church West in Brookfield, Wisconsin on this beautiful fall morning. Your presence here and online help us grow our beloved community. We offer gratitude for the privilege of living and gathering on traditional territory inhabited at various times by many native peoples. So much of the history of this land has been erased or ignored. Those of us who are settlers and newcomers are beholden to learn that history and engage in the work of reconciliation and reparation. My name is Kathy White, and I serve on your board of trustees. My pronouns are she and her, which I share in solidarity with those under siege. What first drew me to Unitarian Universalism and continues to inspire me are the fire in your eyes as you work for social justice, the joy in your words as you welcome all of us at the doors, and our shared values of inclusivity, anti-racism, earth spirituality, welcoming community, and love-based actions which make meaning out of chaos. We acknowledge our need to address racism, which continues to lead to violent deaths of Black and Indigenous people. We know that anti-Black racism and settler colonialism perpetuate inequalities, injustices, poverty, and exclusion in U.S. society. We commit ourselves to becoming an anti-racist faith community dedicated to equity and racial justice. As a welcoming congregation to gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, and queer plus people, we continue to address ongoing homophobia, violence, and unfair legislation targeting them. Whatever your age or color, whoever your ancestors were, whatever your gender identity, whatever your chosen beliefs, whoever you love, you are welcome here. If you're a newcomer, we welcome you, and you'd like to connect further, you can talk to me after the service or one of our newcomer committee people. Send an email to visitor@uucw.org, or if you're in person, use the welcome side of the blue form that you received and place it in the offering basket when it comes around. I want to highlight a couple announcements which are also printed with your order of service. Number 5, help build homes and community in the Dominican Republic. In July 2026, dates to be determined, our goal is to lead a group of 10 to 22 volunteers ages 15 and up on a 9-day trip to the Dominican Republic. Info sessions will be held in the sanctuary at 11:30 a.m. on September 14th and September 21st. Join to learn more while eating a Central American lunch. And please RSVP to Jim Fisher at Gleason Fisher at sbcglobal.net, or just talk with him in the community room today. Also, please visit the 3 tables highlighted at the top of the announcements to learn a few ways you can engage in small group activities. And believe me, getting engaged in these groups has really helped me to build community. All the announcements are very important and time sensitive, so please check them all. Now let's take a breath and quiet ourselves as we enter into our in-gathering water communion service.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Jill Braithwaite. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve this congregation as its minister. I join Kathy in welcoming you all here this morning. It is so good to see all your beautiful faces here at our water communion in-gathering service as we begin a second year for me of shared ministry with you all. I'm just so grateful to be here with you. As many of you know, I'm recovering from a concussion injury. My recovery is going really well. It takes some patience, but it's going really well, and I wanted to let you know that, and I thank you so much for your caring, thoughtful messages. It's deeply appreciated. And I just want to FYI you that I'm still having some sensory sensitivities, and so I will likely use noise-reducing headphones during some of the louder parts of. Folks who have had a concussion will understand that reduction of sensory input is sometimes really, really helpful. So I thank you for that and for your patience. I may also sit, it's also possible I may sit down during some parts of the service. Now again, let's settle ourselves, bring ourselves into awareness of the presence of one another, folks joining us online, all those in our welcoming and belonging circles. As our call to worship this morning, I offer words from Reverend Gretchen Haley, which remind us of our call to intentional belonging. Although there remains too much evidence of the world breaking apart at coastlines, congressional hearings, and kitchen tables, inside the quiet places of your heart and mine, there resides still the seeds of longing to return to this knowing that we belong to each other, to this earth, and to this life we share. To remember ourselves and all of our lost pieces, beloved in ways that cannot be undone. To dwell here in this healing, this hope, this wholeness is our practice of resistance. Even in rage, we refuse to relinquish gratitude and joy. Come, let us worship. And now I invite Kathy to light our chalice, and I invite us all to speak our chalice lighting words, which are printed in your order of service. We gather with our hearts and minds open. We gather with love as our guide. Together we seek to grow our souls and to live our values. Our mission is this: grounded in love, UUCW is a joyful community committed to spiritual growth, inclusion, and justice. The power of fire made manifest. And now we'll sing together a song from a brand new UUA resource called Sing Out Love. It's a new online collection of congregational songs written primarily by and for Unitarian Universalists. The song we'll sing right now is called When We Sing Together, and it's by Leah Davis, Minister of Music at First Unitarian Society of Denver. Please rise in body and or spirit.
When we sing together, our melody Good morning. My name is Darth Jennings, and my pronouns are she and they. Our reading today is by David Breeden, and it's called Building Belonging. Welcome, friends, newcomers, old-timers, seekers, skeptics, saints of habit, and rebels of the heart. Here we gather not because we think the same, but because we choose to journey together. Belonging is not something given. It's something we build with open hands and open hearts. It's made in the sharing of stories, the holding of silences, the courage to show up as we are. Here we practice a radical hospitality, not of perfection, but of presence. May we make this place a shelter for the soul, a workshop for justice, a sanctuary where love is not merely spoken, but lived deeply. Welcome again in trust, in hope, and in the spirit of belonging.
We enter now a time for sharing of joys and concerns that touch our individual lives. One way we express through ritual the many ways that we care for one another in this community. In a moment, you'll be invited to come to the mic to share aloud. If you have something you'd rather not share aloud, you can use the QR code on the order of service. And at any time during the week, know that you can use the link in the e-news to let us know what's on your heart. What you share this morning is only for the ears of those gathered here. It will not be posted in the posted video of the service or shared in our e-news. So now, please come to the mic to share if you choose to, or raise your hand and an usher will bring you a mic. And now we place one last candle for those joys and concerns not shared here today, but held in our hearts. Now let's pause and breathe together and hold all that's been shared in the loving space of this community. And now please remain seated and we'll sing together, O River, the words of which are printed in your order of service.
This is a song by the duo called Mamuse. I encourage you to look up their music. It is wonderful and healing. The song is appropriate for today. We've all found our way back home to UUCW, and it reminds us about our journey using the river as a metaphor. There's a couple parts I will demonstrate and then invite you to respond to my part. It begins like this. Finding my way, 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 finding my way back home. Return. Finding my way, 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 finding my way back home. And then it does this. Finding my way, 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 finding my way back home. Return. Finding my way, 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 finding my way back home. Very similar. Let's put those two parts together. Here we go. Finding my way, 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 finding my way back home. Finding my way, 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 finding my way back home. Excellent. Here's the second part. I'll begin. Oh, river, I feel you, hear you calling me. Your turn. Oh, river, I feel you, hear you calling me. Here's the second part. Oh, river, who will I be when I reach the sea? Here we go. Oh, river, who will I be when I reach the sea? Let's put those two parts together. Here we go. Oh, river, I feel you, hear you calling me. Oh, river, who will I be when I reach the sea? Let's do that one more time. Oh, river, I feel you, hear you calling me. Oh, river, who will I be when I reach the sea? Now you might have figured out these two parts can go together. So I'll start this side of the congregation. You can sing Find in My Way, and then I'll bring in this side with the choir to sing the part two. Part one, let's start. Find in my way, 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 find in my way back home. Find in my way, 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 find in my way back home. Keep that going, ready, and. Oh, river, I feel you, hear you calling me. Oh, river, who will I be when I reach the sea? One more time. Oh, river, I feel you, hear you calling me. Oh, river, who will I be when I reach the sea? Thank you.
And now we move into our water communion ceremony. In our in-gathering worship service, it is our tradition to bring water from places that have touched our hearts and spoken to our spirits, whether that's tangible or metaphorically and in our hearts. We bring our waters to this community and share them in a collective vessel, symbolizing our shared belonging to this congregation and to one another. By merging the waters that we bring, we each contribute to the strength and resilience of this shared belonging. As water belongs to water in Earth's vast water cycle, we too belong to one another in community. In a moment, it will be time to gather our water. We invite folks to come up either of the two aisles, with this side coming along the front of the table on the floor, and this half coming along the back of the table on the floor. Now, this is important. For those of you who don't have water with you, we have pitchers here on the table that you can pour from to symbolize your contribution of water from someplace meaningful to you. And you can hold in your heart what that place is. Online folks, I invite you to take some water, name a place that's meaningful to you, and pour it into a vessel that symbolizes your belonging here. As you pour your water into the common vessel this morning, I invite you to speak the words or hold them in your heart, "We all belong." Now please come forward. I love knowing that UU churches all across the globe actually are doing this same tradition on this Sunday morning after Labor Day. Isn't that a fun thing to know? And I also just need to notice that we apparently have a tradition of adding, at some point, somehow, a little bit of color to our water. I love that. Love that. I don't care how it got there, I just love it. That's right. Or it's a UU miracle. All right, now we will bless this water. We have gathered our waters together, and now we shall bless it. This great symbol of resilience, source of life, welcomer of us all. This is living water. Its resilience finds a way. Its beauty refreshes us. Its awesome power shapes the earth and shapes our souls. May this water inspire us to welcome this new moment, to meet this church year together in shared ministry with our wisdom and experience, our joy and our strength and our love, ever grounded in love. May it be so. And I'll also note that this year I'm going to save some of the water and sterilize it and use our collected gathered waters in child dedications during the year. All right. Now it's time to move into story time. Dave and I are going to share a story with you. It's called The Wasteland and the Garden. And like stories through the ages, it begins once upon a time.
Once upon many times.
Over and over again.
Across thousands of years and millions of miles.
There was a land of great beauty and lush abundance.
Now in this land, plants turned light and water into sugar. Animals turned plants into soft flesh.
Sun poured generously across it all, and the moon pulled the seas up snug over the sands.
In this land, there were people who lived and worked and sang songs and tended to the land and to one another. Life was beautiful and hard. Together, they tried and failed and learned and tried again.
And when they failed, they cried tears of frustration. And as they learned, they cried tears of triumph. And still they lost people and things they loved and grieved with tears of sorrow and memory. And they loved each other through tears of joy. And as they looked out over the land they loved so well and that loved them so well in return, they cried tears at its immeasurable beauty. And through it all they worked and tended the land and tended each other.
And under these people's careful tending and watered by the tears of their hearts overflowing, eventually the land blossomed even more beautifully. Amid the blossoming, the people and the animals and the plants all thrived. They suffered and struggled too, but together, many and more of them thrived.
Once upon many times,
And over again,
across thousands of years,
and millions of miles,
now a small group of new people arrived to the land of great beauty and lush abundance. They came from a place that had been stripped of its plenty and bled dry of its bounty. They came leaving behind what had become to them a wasteland.
Now, as their land's plants had died and rivers had dried up, they had learned to build walls upon their hearts, and their tears had also dried. So they came full of fear, shaped by scarcity, and they brought with them an insatiable need for more.
They were astonished by the land of beauty and abundance. It was so alive. It was so bountiful. It was right here for the taking. And what was to stop them from taking?
Clearly, they thought the people of this land must not know its value. Clearly, they thought, we can make better use of these riches.
So they set about taking. And since they only knew how to take, they did not give anything back to the land. Not their love, not their care, and certainly not their tears.
And lo and behold,
Lo and behold,
the lush land's plants began to die. The rivers began to dry. And this small group of new people shook their fists at the sun, which continued to bathe the land in a honeyed light.
this land too is a wasteland, they exclaimed bitterly, having wasted the land indeed.
So they abandoned the land to find something better, something lusher, something more.
And meanwhile,
And every while, and over again.
the people who had long tended the land and who had done what they must to survive the wasting, now journeyed about the land that had once been so beautiful and so lush. They observed the wreckage and they wept. They wept tears of rage and tears of despair. They wept tears of deep grief for all that had been lost. And then, amid their tears, they resumed their tending.
And life was still beautiful. And it was so hard. But together, they tried and failed and learned and tried again.
And they cried all the tears they had always cried, of frustration and triumph, of sorrow and joy and love for each other and for the land itself.
And lo and behold,
And lo and behold,
from their tending and their tears, through their hard work, and from seeds left behind in every crack of wasted ground, new growth sprang up, at first haltingly, and then one day, lush and a little bit wild.
once upon a time,
Once upon many times,
over and over again,
across thousands of years and millions of miles,
there were lands of great beauty and lush abundance, where plants turned light and water into sugar, and animals turned plants into soft flesh. In the day, the sun poured down, and at night the moon tucked everything in.
and the people lived and worked and sang songs. They wept and thrived and tended to the land and to one another.
Over and over again. And now Reuben will lead us in a chant song called Hoof and Horn.
Once again, repeat after me. Hoof and horn, all that dies shall be reborn. Hoof and horn, all that dies shall be reborn. Corn and grain, all that falls shall rise again. Corn and grain, All that falls shall rise again. Hoof and horn, hoof and horn. All that dies shall be reborn. Hoof and horn, hoof and horn. All that dies shall be reborn. Corn and grain, corn and grain. All that falls shall rise again. Corn and grain, corn and grain. All that falls shall rise again.
There are so many tears for us to cry in this time. We are in a time of tears. Many of them bitter, and many of them still, even now, very sweet. The water that holds our joys and sorrows comes from many sources, but it also comes from our own eyes, from the tears we cry together so often as we live these brutal and beautiful lives, and as we hold one another close in this time. We are a people who choose to let our tears water the garden of our community. Our grief, our sorrow is welcome here. As we now add salt water to the other waters we have gathered this morning, we call to mind the many tears that we shed in this time. Tears of awe at the natural world and its wonders. Tears of speaking what you've been holding in. Tears of moral clarity. Tears of overwhelm, too big to name. Tears of big belly laughs and joy that cannot be contained. Tears of frustration at trying and failing and trying again. Tears of loss, tears of love, tears of that one chord change going into the chorus. Tears of witnessing redemption, tears of despair, and tears of hope. Will you join me now in naming the kinds of tears that you are carrying today by sharing that naming aloud or in your heart? Tears for the people of Gaza. Tears of gratitude for our teachers.
Tears for the immigrants who are separated from their families. Tears for people that were hurt in the flood, for all they've had to go through, and for the gifts of things being swept away and a chance for renewal. Tears for those who are afraid to stay in our country. Tears for those caring for their loved ones. Tears for those who are bullied.
All these tears, spoken and unspoken, are welcome here. And now Dave is going to help our children water the sanctuary with these tears so that new life can bloom here, just as in our story, watered by the tears of our open hearts overflowing. They're sprinkling a little bit of salt water in various spots in the sanctuary. Nice work to our tear sprinklers and their helpers. Thank you. As our children water our sanctuary with our gathered tears, I invite you into a moment of meditation. Take a deep breath in and then out. Plant yourself in your chair. Allow your breath to deepen down into your belly. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Follow your breath into a moment of peace. This land is not a wasteland, despite all that has been wasted and all that has been lost. There is abundance here, and it is ours to tend, ours to love. Imagine with me now all the seeds that are waiting in the cracks of your life, in the ground of your life, and of this community. Seeds of deeper compassion, seeds of greater thriving, seeds of welcome and belonging. What is your belongingness calling you to? What are the seeds ready to grow here? What could blossom with the full presence of your open heart? What is ready to grow? Open your eyes now. The blooming has begun. Colorful flowers growing up the column here in our midst to remind us that so much beauty is still possible with our care. We will try and try again, like the people in our story, and tend the land, and tend our community, and tend to one another. We will stay whole over and over again. Blessed be.
Looks like the man that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Look over yonder, what do I see? God's gonna trouble the water. My Holy Ghost a-comin' on me. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Thank you. Beautiful. I understand the Packers game is at 3 today, correct? Is that right? Oh, 3:25, okay. Still, I have a short reflection to share, and I think I'm going to do a little on-the-fly shortening, so to help us bring this in close to 11:15. So we'll see. It'll be a concussion recovery test to see how that goes. The Soul Matters theme for September is building belonging. Apropos for a time of ingathering with many teams and programs starting up again after a summer break. There are all kinds of belonging in our lives, right? The belongings that we are born into. There are belongings that we are invited into. There are the belongings that we choose. Belonging is a fundamental human need. Remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Belonging is placed at the second level up from the bottom of human needs, right above food, clothing, safety, shelter. Psychologists tell us that folks live richer, fuller lives when they have a nourishing kind of belonging in their lives, in which where bonds are formed by things that call to the best parts of us, such as a set of values grounded in love. When we don't have a place where we belong, this can increase our loneliness and a sense of isolation and alienation, right? And there are types of belonging that are just ready to swoop in and take advantage of that. One of these is belonging that's based in antagonism, in placing blame and directing hate at a perceived shared enemy. Does this sound familiar? And as we know, the online landscape offers a wide variety of these, which often appeal to people feeling disconnected, a very real form of suffering, that alienation and disconnection. In the Sophia Faz lecture at this year's General Assembly Conference, Reverend Sean Neil Barron compared the feeling of belonging he experienced at a Pride drag event with the feeling people have, in his observation, at a political rally when the speaker is urging them to hate others. The Pride event, he said, was radically inclusive, uplifting, uniting, and called people into an ethos of love for all. About the extreme right political rallies of our time, Reverend Neil Barron said, "We as progressives rightly criticize the hateful version of belonging that is being offered. We reject this promise of belonging, which is and forever will be balanced on the knife edge held to someone else's throat." Our universalist faith, he continued, that says that all of us belong, that all parts of you belong, that we all belong together. This is the wider, more real embrace. We also have on offer the type of belonging that our culture hammers us with incessantly, the belonging of consumerism, which tells us that we are always one purchase away from being at peace. I should cut this next part, but I'm not going to. This brings to mind something from the great television show Mad Men. In a pitch to executives from Lucky Strike, the character of Don Draper describes what the ads are actually selling. Happiness, he says, is the smell of a new car. It's freedom from fear. It's a billboard on the side of the road that screams with the reassurance that whatever you're doing is okay. You are okay. This is the siren song of consumer culture. We are a purchase away from being okay. And of course, this is an illusion, and it leaves us increasingly isolated and in perpetual, insatiable need for more, like the people in our story. We come to church for an altogether different kind of belonging, one based on the reality, the lived reality of our interdependence with one another, our essential interconnectedness. Just like the water with the land, the seeds with the soil, the flowers with the rain and the sun. Brene Brown reminds us that true belonging is a spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world, that you can share your tears, that you can find the kind of belonging, build the kind of belonging that is enriching, not anesthetizing. Our Unitarian Universalist communities invite us into belonging centered around faith. Faith in something larger than ourselves, in community and in a set of shared values. Our faith is a practice of intellectual humility, reminding us of our own limitations and our need for diversity and for one another. Our faith assures us that we are not alone and that we get to participate in something larger than ourselves. As the old UU saying goes, we pray with our feet in this faith. And please allow me to amend that to say that we pray with our voices, our wheels, our crutches, our emailing fingers, our Zoom meeting attention, and our cardboard signs held high. Like the people in our story this morning who weathered the times of destruction and wastelanding, we tend to the community, the garden in which we find our belonging. We build it together, ever widening the circle, and caring for one another with our gifts, our presence, and yes, our tears. I believe there's never been a better time to invest in love and community, to rewire the training we've received, which tells us that each of us is on our own, that it's get before you get gotten. Let us reach deeper into our souls and listen for the authentic voice there that tells us that we are all in the same boat. That as Dr. King taught us, we are tied together in the single garment of destiny, caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, and whatever affects one affects all. Welcome, dear ones, once again into the belonging and abundance of this beautiful, joyful faith community. Let us continue to build belonging together with our open hearts, our nourishing tears, and our joy. May it be so, and amen.
UU Church West Split the Plate program is one of outreach and generosity. Each month we give half of all undesignated offerings to a nonprofit organization to help us live our Unitarian Universalist values, pursue the goal of social justice, and serve our community. Our partner for September is Pearls, a United Way community organization that offers a haven for girls from 5th grade through high school. With weekly meetings, support from volunteers, and decades of experience backing their approach, Pearls has guided generations of teen girls toward fulfilling lives. A new school season heralds a new space for Pearls, and UUCW is delighted to be part of their story once again. To join in the celebration, drop something in the offering basket or make a donation this way. To do your part, go to UUCW website's Donate tab and select Split the Plate from the menu provided. Or you can text or mail your donation using the information found here. We thank you most sincerely for your support.
Now let us speak together the words for dedicating our offering. They are printed in your order of service. To the work of this community, which is to ground ourselves in love and joy, and to act for inclusion and justice, we dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. Now please rise in body and or spirit, and we'll sing together "The Tide is Rising." The lyrics are printed in your insert. May we open our hearts and speak our truth. May we build faithful belonging together and nourish this land with our tears and our gifts. And may you be blessed and be a blessing. May it be so, and amen.